We're back on Australian soil for the NRL. It is round one proper. No more Las Vegas. Let's do it Aussie style. So we did have the 2 games over in Las Vegas, which we do have to check out. And I shouldn't have gone against my Panthers for starters. So on Sunday the 2nd, we had Raiders versus Warriors. I was slightly surprised. Only 40% got this correct. Raiders won by 22 against Warriors, which I am pretty shocked. The underdog won here for sure. There's multiple factors to take into account, obviously, with it being over in the States. It's anyone's. It really was anyone's. So, obviously, I get absolutely nothing for that. Then we had Panthers versus Sharks. Panthers, why did I not choose? I thought, do I choose my heart or my head? I went with my head, and I should have gone with my heart, if that makes sense. And, yeah, Panthers won by 6. I thought it would be a close game. I did Sharks to win by 1. Obviously, Panthers were the favourites, obviously. And I just thought, yeah, Sharks may start off with a win, but they did not. So, nothing for me there either. Well, we're only 2 games in, but let's see how everyone has done in that short period. Benny, number 1. Bear in mind, all this can change very quickly. Benny is at the top. He got a bonus point as well, so that is very, very good. Mighty Muffins in 2nd. Anthony Hill in 3rd. Arlo Wright in 4th. And Kev and Stormy May in joint 5th. So some good points picked up. I think a lot of people probably did much better than me. I made some silly, silly mistakes. Look, there's lots of people in here. I just had a shocker. I had a shocker with 0 points. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us that got nothing. Obviously, the golden hat so far is with Benny. Right, let's get this season started properly on Australian soil. We start Thursday the 6th, Allianz Stadium. It is Roosters versus Broncos. A very, very decent game to start off back on Australian soil. Roosters obviously at home. Broncos last year, let's talk about last year. Broncos, they had moments where they were brilliant, but not consistent enough to really force themselves as title contenders. So I'm expecting something better this year. Key absences. Roosters are missing Spencer Leniu. Some of these names in NRL are very difficult. Weira Hargreaves suspended and possibly Sam Walker due to injury. Broncos without Katoni Staggs and Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam scoring those goals in the 2 years ago in the grand final. Amazing. Obviously, Roosters won both matchups last season against Broncos. But looking at it, Brisbane do have a new coach in Maguire who may give them a fresh start after last season's poor form. I think tactically, Broncos, powerful forwards packs with Hassan and Carrigan. They should dominate a slightly weakened Roosters team that are in the middle especially. So, I know they've got home factor, but I'm going to go with Broncos this one. I am going to go with Broncos. I am seeing the Broncos performing better this year. I am going to go with the Broncos win by 8. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's not too much, taking into account what we have just researched. So the next one, Campbelltown Sports Stadium on Friday the 7th. Okay, well, yeah, I don't see Wests changing anything from last year. They had a little moment, but they were still very poor, weren't they? They were very, very poor. So, looking at it, Tigers are without Apisai Korisau through suspension, Brent Naden injury, and Knights are at full strength. That pretty much says it all. I don't think we need to go into this that much, but with the Knights finishing strong in 24, Tigers struggled pretty much throughout 24. I don't see much. Even West being at home, I just don't see it being enough for them to get a result here. But maybe surprised. West did find moments last year where they beat stronger teams. So not enough, though, for me today. So Knights, I'm going to do a win by... Let's do a win by 12. Let's try that, shall we? Then, Suncorp Stadium, it is Dolphins versus Rabbitohs. I don't know. Rabbitohs, again, they were poor last year. But once again, had a little spell where they mounted some sort of late charge, but it was way too late. Souths are missing Lateral Mitchell, Cody Walker, Cameron Murray, Alex Johnson, which are huge losses. Dolphins are pretty much at full strength, and I think that may be enough. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be enough change for Rabbitohs. I really, really don't. I think Dolphins had some real flashes of brilliance last year, and I think they should be able to turn it on against Rabbitohs, really. They're at Suncorp as well, which favours Dolphins, and I think Rabbitohs are missing far too many players to put up a strong challenge. So with this one, what am I going to do? Dolphins to win by 8. By 8. Let's be fairly complacent. Not complacent, that's the wrong word. Let's be fairly, let's be fairly realistic and not do over-the-top scores, I think, for the first week. Let's see how players and teams settle in. Anyway, next on Saturday the 8th of March at the Nostrata Jubilee Stadium in Sydney, we've got Dragons. Dragons versus the Bulldogs. Now, technically on paper, Dragons beat Bulldogs because you wouldn't mess with a dragon. However, let's see what we think in this one. Dragons are missing Tyrell Sloan, who's probably doubtful. Blake Laurie, Christian Tuipulotu, and Bulldogs are with Jacob Kiraz. Bulldogs won both their meetings last year, and actually both were fairly similar position teams. Actually, both teams did pretty well. They were middle of the pack sort of teams. So it might be still a difficult one. It's difficult. It is a difficult one to call here. I think, given the tactical edge, you've got Bulldogs with Crichton, Burton, and Adokar. They should be able to exploit a slightly weaker defence in the Dragons. So that's all I've sort of got for this one, because I don't think there's ridiculous amounts different between these two teams. So I think I'm going to go with Bulldogs here. I'm going to go with an 8-point win for Bulldogs. I like the 8 points because it's sort of, they get the 6, they get to the end, they want to just get an extra 2 points just to make sure they can't try and convert literally in the end. So I do like the 8-point score. So let's give that a try. Next, Four Pines Park, Manly. So how's it going to go here? Sea Eagles versus Cowboys. Sea Eagles did just about enough to get into the top 8 last year, I think, didn't they? And Cowboys, yeah, they were once again very similar to the previous game. Pretty similar positions last year. Neither of the teams were outstanding, but they did have good moments. Looking at this, key absences: Manly are without Crocker, Cowboys without Lukey. So there isn't really much difference with players that aren't playing. If you look at it, Cowboys have won the last 5 out of 6 in 24 and made the finals. That means absolutely nothing. I'm sorry, it means nothing. But I think with the Eagles being so inconsistent, it makes it harder for me to tip them. Cowboys, yeah, they should be able to. Cowboys should be able to gain control with Tumalulu and Cotter. They should be able to gain control for sure. And I think, it's difficult. It's difficult. I know I said I like going 8 points, but I think I'm gonna go Cowboys, but only by 6. It's a really, really tough one actually. Very, very difficult to call between them. Let's do Cowboys by 6. Tough one, that one to call. Who knows? Who knows on that one? Last game, though, on March 9th, Ami Park, Melbourne. It is Storm versus Eels. Now, obviously, Storm finished top last year, did not quite get the job done in the final. Storm are obviously without Asofa Solomona, who's suspended. Papen, who, oh my God, why are NRL names so difficult? Papen Huizen might be eased in, so he might not get the full minutes. And Eels are missing Reagan Campbell-Gillard. He's left the club, obviously. Storm, obviously, in the grand final. There's surely only going to be one winner here. Eels were piss poor last year, weren't they? You know, it was them, Wests, and Rabbitohs, especially, that were just utter they were just awful, and I don't see much changing this year. Storm are a well-structured team. They've got a great kicking game with Munster, Hughes and Grant, and they should certainly exploit Para's edges for sure. They're at Ami Park, which is it's a real fortress for Storm as well. So yeah, Parramatta haven't actually won there since 2017. So that says a lot. That's 4, 5, 6, 7 years since they last won there. So nothing is going to change here. Nothing is going to change here. I'm in no doubt about it. I will eat my hat if the result is different, as they say. So let's go Storm. I think we've got to do a big one. Storm by 18. Okay, so this is what I'm hoping for. Broncos by 8, Knights by 12, Dolphins by 8, the Dogs by 8, Cowboys by 6, and Storm by 18. Guys, if you haven't already, you've only missed 2 games, so get joining. In the description down below is the competition link. I started off bad. Let's hope it will get better from here. Thank you so much for joining me once again. You guys are awesome. Like, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.